I feel like for how prominent the concept of the cyberpunk genre is, there aren't a whole lot of examples of works with that genre aside from, like, Cyberpunk 2077 and maybe Deus Ex. But I never really got into those. So for now, this will be my only point of reference into the genre. Steel Soul Shaper is a cyberpunk repair workshop simulation game developed by Genepop. I can only describe this game as a cyberpunk-based narrative. I already described it. Yeah, it's got some elements of the ever-popular cozy game genre, but I wouldn't go as far as to call it a cozy game. It's nice for once that it's something other than roguelike elements. I meant to make a video on this one a while ago, but once I got back to it, it picked up a bit more traction, which is pretty cool. It's available both on Steam and on itch, so really take your pick when it comes to downloading it. You play as the owner of a cybernetics shop, in a classic cyberpunk-style dystopia. Your main goal is to keep your shop afloat. This presents itself in two gameplay pillars: conversing with clients, and working on your workbench to repair or upgrade whatever futuristic gizmo or hardware they throw your way. The first section functions sort of like a visual novel. Various individuals will come into your shop and have a lengthy conversation with the player. You'll be prompted to pick dialogue options which will impact the outcome and the response of these individuals. It's not really a reinvention of the wheel, but it doesn't need to be. It's worth noting that some people who come into your shop aren't looking to have work done. A good example is the guy who wants you to pay protection money to him and his gang. You only have to pay him once over the course of this demo, as it spans over 2 days in-game, and he's looking for protection money for the week. But the inclusion of external pressures, such as this, are great for giving various decisions a bit more weight, and this one in particular meant that I spent nearly the entirety of my playthrough with my eye on the counter in the top corner. But this section of the game is only one half of Steel Soul Shaper. And, as I've stated before on my channel, it's a bit hard to cover visual novels and visual novel type sections in any extended detail without just giving a plot summary, spoiling the play value in the process, so let's talk about the workshop. Whenever someone comes into the shop looking to upgrade their hardware, you are taken to the workbench. Here you can pick apart the object you're improving and put it back together again, better than it was before. You have several tools at your disposal here. Your scanner alone is a pretty versatile tool. It's able to scan every part for structural damage, locate viruses within the hardware, and eradicate them by playing this little mini-game. And it's also able to download data off of certain pieces of hardware, which is something that comes more into play in the story, so I'll let you discover that for yourself. The client will have several requests which are listed off to the side and will determine how much money you receive at the end of a job. The most common request is to repair structural damage, which can either be done with a soldering tool for external parts, or for buying a replacement online with internal parts. The money spent on these replacements comes out of your final paycheck, so it's worth considering whether to buy a new part or a used one which is a bit more worn. There will also usually be a request to improve the aesthetics of the hardware. You can do this with one of two tools: a spray can to paint a block color onto the hardware, and the engraver to put a stamp on it. I didn't experiment with this too much, but I think that there's some room to get creative when it comes to the aesthetics of your work, which I appreciate. In general, I think despite the fact you have a timer slowly ticking up in the corner, this didn't really seem to affect my score, as even when I took my sweet time, I always got an S rank on every job. This leads to the game having a rather laid-back feeling in terms of its game flow. The act of taking apart and putting back together various objects feels super satisfying in this game, which is a goddamn miracle considering how not fun I normally find it to do this kind of stuff in real life. Although I don't have much to say on the visual novel sections in terms of their gameplay, I do like how they have a tangible effect on the workshop portion of the game, and vice versa. It would be perfectly fine if it were nothing but a means to an end, if the clients just came in and said what they needed you to do for them. But oftentimes, people don't want you to do a job for just them. They will request that you alter your strategy on another client. They may want you to do a poor job on a client who they have an adversarial relationship with, or maybe they want you to download data from their hardware and sell it to them in exchange for money. This means that you can approach the same job from several different angles, which I really appreciate. The last thing I will say about this game is that I absolutely love its visuals and its style in general. I've said before, I'm not the biggest cyberpunk fan. I usually see it as like steampunk's younger brother. But the character design in this game is all brimming with personality. And I think that it's important for the feel of this game that a character can walk into your shop and you can immediately get their vibe and what they're all about. That's all I have for this game. As per usual, if the game looks interesting to you at all, I strongly recommend you check it out. There'll be a link in the description for the itch and you can go to Steam from there. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I'm always on the lookout for new free itch projects, so if that seems like something you're interested in, definitely stick around. Happy Friday.